got 10 seconds remaining. Looks like it's going to be a draw. Looks like it's heading for a draw. Maguire down the line. Moore. Oh! Ryan Hall! Ryan Hall! Ryan Hall scores for Leeds and wins them the league leading
Hi everybody, welcome to the Lot Pod, the Leeds Rhinos Lot 17A podcast, kindly sponsored by ACD&B, who are creative and let me start that again, Reece. Who are a creative and rebranding design agency based in Farsley. I need to put my teeth in. They create standout brands like our amazing Lot 17A. I've lost the plot. What am I drinking here? I've completely gone mad. Who have created our amazing fanzine and create standout brands. Any companies out there need a brand new logo or a brand refresh, just get in touch with ACD&B. Thank you to them, as always, for sponsoring us. I've got a little bit of housework to get through before I introduce Reece. He's back, by the way. We've started a fantasy league, the Lot Pod and Loiners View collaboration. All the details are on the Loiners View Twitter and on the Lot Pod Twitter. So go on there and feel free to join up to the fantasy league. We are going to try and keep on top of it and have small sections of the podcast to kind of update people on who's winning, who's doing rubbish, aka me, because I'm pantsing. We're also this week, as we record this on the Lot Pod Twitter page, we are going to give away a Matt Diskin testimonial shirt. There's been little sneak previews of the shirt and things on Twitter, on the Lot Pod Twitter. We are giving away a Matt Diskin testimonial shirt. It is second-hand. I have washed it, so it is in half-decent nicks, but just be aware that it isn't brand new. The details of that giveaway will be on Twitter at some point this week, and I think we'll select a winner at the end of the week as we record this on Monday. So this is the match review panel for Leeds versus Bradford. My right-hand man, my co-host, is back. I hope he's feeling better after missing last week. How are you, Reece?
Yeah, good, thank you. Much better. Even actually surprisingly well after a weekend in Glasgow. So, yeah, alive and kicking.
Did you enjoy Glasgow?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I couldn't really. Yeah, it was all right.
Don't sound convincing.
Went to two places. Yeah, we went to one. We really like this band with one bass. Right, we'll go follow them to this next one. Went to this other place, clearly like the Headingley version of Glasgow, like the really studenty area. And I've never felt so effing old in my life. One, I queued to get into a bar and done that in bloody years. Don't know why people do that. Frozen, absolutely freezing outside this. Get in this place, and I'm just like, yeah, no. When you're like, there's like 4-5 people deep at the bar, you have to like all like this to come through. My mates go, oh, you might as well double up. So I'm having to get like 8 Guinnesses and all that and try getting through the crowd. Yeah, just realise I'm too old.
You are, though. That's quite worrying because you're not.
And then we went to PTK on Sunday night and I felt too young.
And then you felt too young?
Like, yeah. Demographic was really interesting.
With the wrong crowds on both sides.
Yeah, quite clearly. But no, Glasgow was good. But
it's a beautiful city. I love it. I absolutely love it. So, Leeds versus Bradford. Do you think do we miss Bradford? I always feel like, apart from that horrible cup loss the other year there, 2019, wasn't it? 2018, 2019. I do miss Bradford. Do you feel like Super League misses Bradford, Reece?
I mean, I do. I'm of the opinion that, the rivalry, we don't have as good a rivalry as we did with anyone else other than Bulls. Casts like to think they do and Wakey think they do, but nothing was ever good really as Leeds Bulls, especially in that early 2000s era when Bulls were at their prime. we were emerging to come into our prime, it was awesome. And Bradford, to be honest, I think it sucks for Bradford because Bradford needs a Bulls or City to be doing well. But when they don't have it, it's a bit naff, really. But no, nice to let them remind them of what a good stadium looks like, the good old days. But I do think we need them back somehow.
And I think if they were in Super League, I think it would have helped that kind of funding of a new stadium, of that kind of dome, kind of dream that they had. I think being in Super League would have helped that. And I think that would have helped Super League having more new stadia that people can be impressed with. So I do.
Do you ever talk about TV series, like if you should choose like a rugby league club to follow in their journey? Like Bradford would be the prime one to do. The only problem is you need about 20 series commissioned before we actually got back to Super League. At which point Super League's gone bust anyway. It's a completely new league.
It could be something similar to like the Wrexham one though, where they start in the doldrums and the story is that the Phoenix rises from the flame. I don't know, Phoenix from the flames type scenario. I do every time it's Leeds Bradford. I don't know. There's always such a nostalgic taste, and I just think, I miss it. I miss that probably because it was like when I first started going to watch rugby league, to watch Leeds. That was the game. That was the big hoo-ha. That was the big derby. It meant so much, and I just think, through nostalgic eyes, we miss it. And I think, but do you think, on a bit of a tangent, but if they came back up and stayed in Super League, do you think they'd get the crowds? Do you think there's an appetite there? There were a decent crowd there on, when was it? Saturday, Sunday?
I don't know.
Because they've almost been down for 2014. So has the appetite gone a little?
They'd get people back, but not to the extent they used to. I mean, we don't have the number of crowds that we used to. But I can't remember if this is. I think this could be completely wrong. But I remember when I first started going, I remember it being 18,000 quite easily. Like 16 was kind of like medium. Like last year, our high was 14. So I don't, but I think they'd get some back, but I don't think they'd get it all back. I think it's been too long. And City, you got to remember, Bradford City's season tickets aren't expensive either. So that's your competition. So
up against them as well. I miss you, Bradford. Come back. So on to the game. One name that scored our first try, and it's been a bit of a theme throughout pre-season. Leon Ruin again scored a try, played well, played at centre, I believe. He were in 4. He seems to be the name that's constantly. I know we've only had a couple of friendlies, but he seems to be the name that's constantly. Every time you ask someone or you talk about the game, they'll say, yeah, Leon Ruin played well again. Do you think of all the new recruits out of the trial friendly games so far, he's the one who's really impressed, not just us as fans, but do you think he's impressing Rowan as well?
You including your Sam Lasones in this and Sankares as well, like all of the players? Or just these young ones?
No, I have to say all of them.
Yeah.
Simply because, the reason I say that is because this name, ever since Duncan said it on for the Wakey review, Leon Ruin has been the theme in each game, each 3 of these games. He's been the one where he almost seems to be the first name. Or anytime you ask someone or on Twitter or social media or any match report, I just see it and I think he's the one who's impressed out of all the new players.
Yeah, I mean, before these preseason side, I was kind of hoping it was going to be Luke Hooley because I feel like that's probably the position we need someone to thrive in because we need that competition for Myler at fullback. Now Leon Ruin playing centre or back row, whatever, but we have got quite a lot of depth in there. There's another player we're going to talk about later on in Gibbon who's been insane as well. But yeah, I think Ruin's easily been probably the best performing player so far in pre-season of the new signings. Definitely. Because the Sam Lasoni was a bit hit and miss last week, wasn't he? And he's the one that you're expecting to be in and out. But yeah, Leon Ruin, 3 games straight away.
And I think Ruin and the way he's playing, I think Rowan will be like give him a chance as soon as that chance comes. I know he keeps saying he's a project and things, but I don't know. The way he's playing, I think he'll be ready. As soon as he gets that chance, I think he'll be in. And I'm looking forward to it. You just touched on there, Gibbons. It was a great break for Richie Myler's try. So showed some good
Can we before we talk
speed
about
there to make that break.
Before we talk about his speed, can we talk about Donaldson's pass first?
Yeah.
Where was that going?
Where was that going? In the northeast corner.
Yeah, it was about 90
There's that
yards.
little house in the northeast corner. There's a balcony. I don't know if it's corporate. It just hoid it, and it were going up there. But what it Gibbons? I think it was Gibbons who caught it.
Yeah, exactly. So it went behind about 2 players, I think, and then to be fair, Gibbons picked it up and he was under pressure straight away. But good feet, and then quite impressive speed for a back rower. Yeah. I can't think of any of our back rowers that can go that quick at the moment. And yeah, really good finish, really strong. I mean, last year, he did really well in the reserves last year, didn't he? I think I was reading earlier. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, he got 6 tries in 9 games for reserves last year. So he's obviously got it in him. He's only 20 as well. But again, that's another person that me and you weren't even talking about him. No. We were talking about James McDonnell and everything else. And again, that's another back rower. But he took his try really well. And he scored another one, didn't he, as well?
He scored one, yeah, from a drop off from Sinfield, kind of inside ball, and just took it over the line. Good ball, actually. Well played. Yeah, that was Gibbons made the break and Richie Myler scored the try. 18-4 at half time. Cam Smith on kicking duties. Is anything this man can't do?
Grow a mullet. That's what he can't do. He seems to have packed that in. Although someone else had
it cut, you.
Someone else was doing it. It might have been Lewis Roberts. There was one of the I can't remember because I think you know what I really struggle when they don't have the names in the back, and they've all got. I swear some of them didn't have the right numbers on because I think Levi Edwards had 11 on, and Leon Ruin had 4. So I was a bit confused with which player was who sometimes. But there's a young ginger lad that seems to be growing a big ginger mullet. So I think he's going to have.
What's it called?
Was it Lewis Roberts? I don't think he. Was it him?
No, it's not Lewis Roberts. But I can't remember his bloody name. I know exactly who you mean. Is it Holyfield? I think it's Holyfield. Could be. But yeah,
whoever's listening.
Mullet. But yeah, I think Cam's. Whoever's listening, tell us. I think Cam's had it cut. I think he's bottled it. I think it got to quite a length, and then he's gone like, "Oh, it looks. I've bottled this," and had it like trimmed back, whereas he could have just let it continue and look so glorious. But on kicking duties. What?
Yeah, it's just one for stats. Actually, has he ever? It's one for stats. Is whether he's actually ever kicked a goal before? Because I don't remember him kicking a goal before.
No, I don't.
No, he got it, didn't he?
I don't.
He didn't miss.
Yeah, he nailed it. It was because Reece Martin was sin binned, wasn't it? Martin got binned, and then Cam went on kicking.
And also, Martin struggled at his first kick, didn't he? I've never seen a ball literally stop midair like that before
with such hang time.
I know.
It kicked it had the trajectory. That's what going on, but it just like literally just stopped in there and then dropped behind the line. Of course, he meant to do it. Just adding to the drama. Another assist for Sam Walters. Nice break and then a beautiful offload to Morgan Gannon for his try. Do you think he meant that, or do you think it were a set play?
Part of me thinks if that's a Super League game, I can just picture Johnny Lomax picking it off and running a beyond the pitch. Like I don't know, it worked perfectly. I think it's a mixture of Walters trying his luck, and it was a good pass in the end, but Gannon read it really well as well. I think Gannon was in the right position and it was already making a move towards that way, whether he was ready for the next play or whether he was coming round, but we'll give him benefit of the doubt. I think it's just got to do it week in, week out. You can do it week in, week out in Super League, and then you can definitely have it.
We spoke about this last week when for the league review, and the question I asked Tim and Cameron was, obviously Tom Holroyd's due back this year. He's back, he's fit, he's playing, but Sam Walters has been playing well. Rowan kind of trusts him. The back end of last year, he kind of really let him play in all the big games right through to the grand final. I kind of asked them to if it was a toss-up between Walters and Holroyd in the pecking order, who do you think would be winning for 2023 in terms of getting a spot in the squad?
I think it's going to be Walters. And I think it's because he's that bit more versatile. Because I think if we've got Tetivano and Ledsky starting, that means you've probably got Lasone on the bench and maybe Sangare. You can't really fit another prop on there. So I think just if you've got a fully fit squad, which as a Leeds Rhinos side or just in rugby league in general,
we never have.
That's not going to happen, is it? I don't think in rugby league it doesn't happen. So but if everyone's fit, I would put Sam Walters on very much in that role that Rowan had him on last year, that fourth sub that probably doesn't play that much, but he can play prop, he can play second row. You could probably put him at centre. At worst, absolute push comes to shove, you could do it. So I would probably go Walters because he's a bit more versatile.
I agree. It'll be interesting though to see what Rowan thinks. But again, injuries will play its part. I do think Tom Oldroyd's got a big part to play this year. But I just think that for everything that Sam Walters did last year, I don't think, and everything seen in pre-season, I don't think he deserves dropping. I think it's Tom Holroyd to take off him or to take off Sangare or whoever's not playing well.
And Tom could have been competing. Tom could have been competing towards the end of last year if he hadn't gotten that 10-match ban. So, it's not necessarily all down to the injury he had last year. There's a bit of a character thing from Holroyd last year in that. I mean, it was a good punch up. Well, it was punches, wasn't it? It was about 4 or 5.
Punches. Yeah. He just punched anyone that came near him. You can have one. You can have one. You can have one. The ref came over to book him and went, you can have one. Got the ref on end at nose.
But, I think obviously he's cost himself to be in this position a bit because of that. But again, it comes down to competition, doesn't it? He might thrive. If we have all those props available, there's some competition going on there.
I think in terms of competition and in terms of the squad, I'm really excited, mainly because we have Rowan Smith. I think what he's done here, this is what we said. We said he needs the keys to the castle. We suffered under Agar. We need to give Rowan the keys to the castle. And as we said before, of all the signings, these signings have the Rowan Smith flavour on them, don't they? So it's like he's making the ingredients, he's mixing the pot. He's the chef for this special recipe. And I'm really excited to see not just the first team players who we've signed, like Sangare and Lasone, but the likes of Luke Hulin and Leon Ruin, and see how they go on as well. Do you know what I mean?
There's a longevity to this, really is. And I think, Chev Walker was saying it yesterday, if you watched the behind the game, a lot of young lads played in that game yesterday, but didn't look out of place at all. And it has to be that next man up mentality. But again, it feels a bit like now having to see these players and seeing some of them play last year and the year before and these ones coming through. I'm not going to say the word golden generation because I've already said it now, Anna. But because you're hyping it up, aren't you? But you can definitely feel there's a bit of excitement around this young core group of players. So
what Reese is saying, everybody, you heard it. This is the new golden generation.
I'm not saying that. I'm coming up with a different name.
Record, and people call me deluded. Listen to this guy.
No, I said they were showing promise. I didn't say they were actually the golden. But
okay. I'll say it.
Yeah,
this
you have
the
to
new
say
golden generation.
But you have to admit, though, there is excitement. I feel excited about this young crop of players that are coming up. A lot of them are under 20, 21, under 22, and with the salary cap nature of the sport or just the homegrown nature, I think there's longevity in it, but it needs that consistent opportunity. I think that's where we might be hindered by it, because I don't think some of these players are going to get enough opportunity potentially as well.
Something that that I've been obsessed with personally, I don't know how you feel, but we've seen it again in this game, is Morgan Gannon at halfback once more. We've spoke about it loads. I am quite obsessed with this because I don't know, I'm just fascinated by how weird it is and how wrong it feels. But this is going to happen now. it's gone too far. Similar to the Lee Leopards duel.
Well, you've just stole my line. It's exactly like the Lee Leopards kit. This has gone. That went so far to a point where they can't get out of this now. This is not a joke. Like to the point where I thought Rowan was just, a bit bored over Christmas, throwing something out there for Matt Shaw and the other journos to see what they thought. I'll start him there on Boxing Day. Little Christmas present for Morgan. Did well at his A-levels, didn't he? And then it's just not stopped. And it's not like, I don't know why Austin and Season didn't play a bit. Maybe just, again, it's Bradford, we could play some of the younger team there. But I think the true test is next week when we're playing KR. It's KR, isn't it? KR?
Yeah. Okay.
If Gannon's playing there again, I'm half of me's thinking, is he going to start him against Warrington in this position?
He's going to start Warrington.
But he must be seeing something. Morgan's quite a mature kid, isn't he? So he must. And his weakness is going to be the kicking game. But yeah, I'm still struggling a bit like you. Like I keep seeing at the team sheet. And I'm there going, it's still happening. So yeah,
I think I've got to the stage now, and this is just my opinion. I've got to the stage now where come Super League and we get an injury to, God forbid, probably going to happen like Reece says with our injury record, Austin or Caesar. I've just got to the stage now where I believe Morgan is the next in line. I don't think it's Jackson Field.
I think Jack didn't look that bad yesterday either. Jack looked really good.
Exactly. I just feel like it's going to be Morgan Gannon. I might be wrong, but I think I don't know. In my mind's eye now, looking forward a couple of rounds, maybe I just think Ron will say, right, this is why we trained you in pre-season, kid. Show us what you've got. And
was it Rugby League Live? The game Rugby League Live. I'm pretty sure you could have a position called utility, and it just basically meant you could play anywhere in the back line. or just play anywhere.
Yeah, that's more.
I think Gannon's on the verge of this utility player at the moment. Like, I'll play him at half, second row, loose, whatever. But he's a good runner on the ball, isn't he? I can see it. I'm seeing it more now. Now that I've seen him in the position, I can see more of why Rowan thought it was an opportunity to explore. Doesn't mean it still doesn't.
Unless it isn't just. That's what I mean. Unless it is just specifically a pre-season thing. And where he's like, we're going to play their pre-season just to get more on the ball and kind of see where, when you are on the edge, where the halfback wants you. But it's like I said, it's a joke that's gone too far.
Yeah.
What if it becomes the best halfback in the world, all because of a joke? That's just snowball.
But there's other positions as well, because Myler's been given the number 1 shirt. He hasn't really played fullback yet, has he? Hanley's played fullback pretty much nearly most games. So we're in a position at the moment. I don't know if Rowan's just going, go on, Warrington, go look at what we've been doing in pre-season, because it's going to be completely opposite when it comes to week 1.
That was my question. That was literally my next question. Do you think all these players in positions, and he'll play there, he's goal kicking, and all these short kickoffs that we've been doing, do you think it's all just a double bluff to kind of say, right, come Super League, teams are thinking, oh, God, is it a short kickoff? Is Hanley playing fullback? Is Harry Newman going to switch it up? Are the halves going to follow each other across the field? Do you think it could be a double bluff?
I kind of want it to be, because that just sounds fun.
I think that seeded down helped.
I genuinely think it's just Rowan just trying things and exploring things. Like, if you're going to try it, you might as well do it now, aren't you? In pre-season, people getting fitness. Like, if we'd had never done a short kickoff ever, and then we did it first thing against Warrington and we lost the ball straight away, I'll be fuming on the first game of the season. But, if we've practiced it in Chancellor and gone, well, you know what, we've done this a couple of times in pre-season, it's worked, I could probably let that first one slip if we hadn't done it. So, I don't know. I genuinely think this is just Rowan. Just trying out new things. It's time to do it. New combinations. And then I suspect we'll start seeing some regularity coming soon, because we've only really got Hull KR, and that's it, isn't it? Because Hunslet will be juniors, won't it?
It'll be the juniors, maybe 1 or 2 of these players. Maybe Donaldson will go, and players who aren't going to get much game time, maybe they'll get a game there.
Yeah.
I just feel that the versatility he's clearly thinking of injuries and form, and like last year and certainly the year before he was even here when, God, with Robert Louis, I think we had 8, 9 different players playing halfback. So clearly Rowan's thinking, should anything like that happen again, at least we've got players who have played, even if it's a small couple of games, they're kind of aware of how to play in a different position to what they're perhaps used to, you know. I like it. I think it's thinking out the box. And I said it last week's podcast, but I'd much rather go to a game feeling that the Rhinos, like similar to how they played under Tony Smith, that off-the-cuff stuff where you're going to be entertained. And I've said this loads as well, but I'd rather them try something and it doesn't come off. And you think, well, at least they've attempted something there, rather than just finishing a set and putting a kick in. I'd like to see a little chip or an offload, because I always think of it the other side, to think, what if it came off? You clap it, everyone's loving it, you know?
Yeah.
Robbie Rhino on the YouTube comments, evening Robbie, says, I thought Gibbons and Lissoni played well yesterday. I think Lissoni, like Rowan said after the league game, I don't even think Sam is aware of just his potential and how good he is. So we haven't to see it yet. And he hasn't played, apart from the league game. I don't think he's played since September, October, you know. September, really. So he needs a lot of game time, conditioning, and to get used to the weather, apparently. But are you expecting big things from Lissoni, Reese? The reason I ask that is we got our fingers burnt last year with Zane Tetevano. So do you feel, I feel like when we signed Tetevano, perhaps he came with a bigger pedigree because he'd won the NRL and things, but I feel when Tetevano signed, there was a lot of hype and buzz around him. Like, he was like one of the first names on the podcast when we were building up to the year and online on social media. Lissoni, it's been a lot more timid and milder. Do you think that the Tetevano thing's kind of taught Leeds fans to be like, let's just see how he gets on here?
I don't think he's. I think you're right. He doesn't come in the same pedigree as Tetevano. There's much more excitement. Tetevano was a marquee signing. Obviously, I don't think Lissoni is. So there's certainly. God, it feels like a football manager question. This. Do you feel like the price tag on the player puts more pressure on the player?
Yeah.
But a generally kind of part of it, I think there's less. I think there is less expectation. I think we probably do worry because our import strategy in recent years hasn't been great, like Keith Galloway, for example. But we found the odd one here and there.
Evening, Keith.
But he looks. I mean, he definitely played better. I mean, he didn't look great at all in that first game against Leeds, but he definitely looked better this week. I mean, you talk about, has he got a big opportunity, a big potential? He's a big guy. I mean, we've added some serious size to our pack with him. I am nervous about.
I think that's what we were missing. I think that's what we were missing last year. And Rowan obviously jumped on it as quick as he can. Adding Sangare, Lissoni, and every second row under the sun. He clearly thinks that's what we were missing, because there were times last year when we had like James Donaldson and Bodine Thompson filling in there, and it's just there's only so much.
James Donaldson managed to run into someone in a high tackle, and they went down on the floor holding their head. Because we always talk about Donaldson, he always gets a penalty, doesn't he, for a high tackle?
Yeah, he's great for the head-eye penalty.
Yeah, because he runs in
Leeds, by the way. Yeah.
He literally runs it in like a rhino, doesn't he? He literally runs in head first, horn up, all works. I can't remember who it was.
It's almost as if he starts to fall just before contact.
Yeah.
So it's almost like leaning forward, and then it's just obviously the head-eye shot comes in.
Like, he managed to hurt
Another
someone else instead of foot. But he always gets a penalty, doesn't he? But yeah, like the depth is much there, but I think I'm always positive. I'm always beginning of the season. I'm like, this player's going to be the best player in the world. But there is certainly less expectation than Tetevano. I just think he probably I don't mind the size. I like the size, but you need to be fit. Do you
think, given that we've got Tetevano, Ledsky, Holroyd, Walters, Sangare, that's 5 solid props there. do you think that we are in a... Because Cameron kind of said, I can't remember if Cameron or Tim, you have to forgive me, or both, kind of said on the last review that if he needs a couple of rounds to get fit, to acclimatise, we should give him that. Do you agree with that? As if to say, if he needs to get fit, let's give him 2-3 games off, or do you think we're in no position to do that? He has to go from the get-go.
We can't got Oledsky, have you? So you're prop down straight away because he's not making the start of the season. Is Holroyd ready? I don't know who you start actually. Really, there's a potential. There's a potential that Lasoni could even start. I kind of like the idea of benching him, but it depends on the pecking order and who's playing well. Because you've got Holroyd, you could do Sangare, but Sangare again doesn't feel like a starting prop to me. I don't think he's fit enough to be a starting prop. Now and then you're going to need your prop to do a full half. I mean, Oledsky did 80 minutes one game last year, if I remember rightly. You might have your starting props and me could do at least a full half without replacement. And I just don't think Sangare or Lasoni can do that. I mean, obviously that's how you build your bench and accordingly, but I'm not sure we could do it. I mean, Robbie's saying that Holroyd looks very trim yesterday. I mean, that's because he had a whole season to go in the gym, Robbie.
He had nothing better to do.
Yeah, he's been doing lots of boxing practice. So yeah.
More
against the bag this time, though, not someone from
the bag, not his teammates. One thing that I think was a big talking point, that wasn't the pitch, was the ticket prices. It was £25 for an adult. I'm not sure how much it was for the concession. Now, this is obviously Leeds ticket prices. The Hull KR tickets have just gone on sale today, and all the details are available now. It's £10 an adult, Reese. Have Leeds really just misfired on £25 an adult for a fixture against Bradford in freezing cold January?
Do you think they've... I mean, yeah, I think they missed the boat, to be honest. I think it's a lot. I think it's a bit too much, is that? Because that's pretty much the same as Super League. And
match day prices, yeah.
And as much as it were Bradford, as you keep saying, likes being a bit of class, and
you do,
but yeah, it was too much. It's not. I don't know whether they were just going off it was the old rivalry or whatever, but it's just too much money, far too much. A tenner, and I wouldn't be surprised if Bulls had filled their end, and we'd have filled the South stand.
Oh yeah,
if it was a tenner.
Oh yeah, easily.
Although
I don't see where
they had to pay for all the sand, didn't they? They had to pay for all that sand.
That's true. It's the price you pay when you've got the best stadium in the world. You're not just rugby league. People want boxing there and to watch bands and to have these events. I do think Leeds missed the boat. I agree on the ticket prices. I think it's just ridiculous. That £25. It's just, and then a £5 on our league or a tenner on the day. I know Leeds don't control that, but I just think it's fair enough if it's a league game, but it's a pre-season friendly, and know your market as well.
You were paying a tenner to watch the Premier League, weren't you? Like if you're watching remember during COVID, and you could pay a bit of extra money, couldn't you, to watch a day of Sky Sports or whatever. You're paying a tenner for that, not a tenner for a pre-season game.
I can't think that they've got many people paying a tenner to subscribe to that for the day. Robbie's just said in the comments on the YouTube. Sorry, we record this. We stream it live on YouTube. It's £1 cheaper at Warrington in the first Super League game, says Rob.
Yeah, I'm just going to look now.
The proof's in the pudding there. They've completely overshot this by quite some margin. It should have been £10 an adult or some kind of family ticket for, I don't know, 20 quid, 25 quid for a family of four. They'd have got loads out, But they missed the boat. The final score was 24-8, was it? 24-10. There you go. for those anoraks that say we have to say.
Before we move on from the game, though, really quickly, it was a bit weird seeing Jack Walker and Bodine Thompson in a bullshit.
It was weird seeing Jack there, but I'm really rooting for him. As I've said before, I really want him to go to Bradford, to stay fit predominantly, and to rip it up. And not as, because I do think that, well, I don't know really. Had we outgrown him? I don't know. Perhaps we had, but I want him to succeed. So I do wish it, but it did seem weird because I know it debuted in like 2017, but it just didn't feel like he was with us long at all.
No. And that kit is rubbish as well. Their kit were awful.
Their kit were awful. We're coming on to kit soon, but their kit was diabolical. Onto a player we haven't mentioned at all yet. There was the good old The Mole from Channel 9, Wide World of Sports out in Oz. He's the transfer guru, the transfer gobshite on Twitter. And he put out an article that said David Fusitua was interested, wanted to go back home, interested in leaving the Rhinos. And within, I make it about 12 hours, 14 hours, he was back on Twitter to say, no, he's staying at Leeds. But I love that small period, Reese, where people read the article and they just jump straight on it as Leeds fans. I'm not taking the mick out of anyone. I just love that instant fan reaction.
I mean, I we're working. I don't know what everyone else are bloody doing, but I literally went on. As you do, go to the toilet at work, so you can go sit on Twitter for 5 minutes. And I went on it, and literally, like, notifications are completely exploded, and there's all this stuff about Fussy too. I'm like, what the bloody hell's happened? Mental. But yeah, I saw it once I got through all the notifications. Would you be that bothered?
I would, in a way, I would, simply because if he had have gone, the potential for him to be a superstar, it's there, and we haven't seen it. We haven't even seen him get through a decent run of games, and that would be a shame. And he's not, for instance, there's been rumours about, I think it was in that stupid Mole article about him being homesick. Well, he's not the first, and he won't be the last player who's come from the other side of the world to play Super League, has felt homesick, or it hasn't worked out in the first season, and then the second season found the straps and blown the league away. Look at they called it Wigan, the fullback, Jai Field. He had a difficult first year, second year, awesome.
Yeah.
So I mean, similar to Dave.
If he's genuinely struggling and everything else, then I wouldn't be standing in his way. I wouldn't stand in his way anyway, to be honest, because he's about 2-3 times as big as me. But there's definitely something there in him, I think. We knew about his injury record when we signed him, but we know he can score tries. He's you're not going to be a bad player if you're top in the NRL score chart, are you, for tries in a season? He's a different player to Hanley. That's what I quite liked about him. He got the speedster in Hanley, and the big physical running winger,
both wings
on the other sides, because Hanley carries really well out from the back, but adding that extra size as well, running it out as well, is great. So I think there's definitely something there for him, but we just haven't seen it. And I just, again, if he stays, I'd love to see it. If he goes, I think it kind of solves a bit of a problem for us, because I don't know where we're going to fit Liam Tyndall and Daryl Alforts into the side. But then also I'm seeing rumours about Harry Newman again. So I think I'd probably err on the side of him staying. I mean, Robbie Reiner's on our comments again saying that Scott Donald took about 2 years to be a good winger.
Yeah, he did. It's a good point, Robbie. He did, and he came and became a Leeds legend. I do think Fussy Tour will come good. I'm backing him again. I backed him to score 25 tries last year.
Yeah, you did, didn't you?
I can't remember. But no, I'm backing him again. Keep him fit. Get Newman on that wing with him. That combo on paper, it's the best combo in the league, is it?
Yeah.
Harry Newman, when he's fit, is the best player in the Super League. It's the hill I'll die on. And then to have Fussy Tua just out off his right shoulder, yeah. Get them two fit, and I'll back Fussy Tua to finish the year and strong with bags and bags of tries. There was a signing on the last podcast that we missed out. The Rhinos, ladies, women, signed Lucy Hardcastle on a 1-year deal. We forgot to talk about it, Reese. Sacrilege. Lucy is a real star of the women's game. Do you think this is the biggest signing Leeds could have pulled off in terms of
Amy Hardcastle or
what did I say?
Lucy?
Lucy? I'm Amy.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
You've literally
Amy
just had me googling.
Hardcastle.
Have we signed a sister as well?
I'm having a mare. Amy Hardcastle. Lucy. No, forgive me, Amy. I don't know Lucy Hardcastle. Amy Hardcastle. I wonder why Reese is giving me just a blank.
Wow, this panicking. Going, crap, we haven't prepared for this one.
Who's Lucy Hardcastle? Amy Hardcastle. Oh my God. Forgive me. Amy Hardcastle on a 1-year deal. She was obviously part of that Women of Steel documentary on the BBC iPlayer. And I think she's one of the most recognisable faces in the UK game. Do you think this is the biggest signing Leeds could have pulled off? I think the only one who could possibly come close is someone like Jodie Cunningham, possibly from Saints.
Well, I mean, Georgia Hale's probably up there if that's actually come over the line. They haven't announced that yet, have they? Or anything with Georgia Hale?
Not yet.
No.
Not yet.
But when I'm not going to profess to know the women's team, get the players through and through, and throughout the league and say who's the top player. But if someone's going to ask me who was one of the best players in Women's Super League, I'd probably put Amy Hardcastle up there straight away. And I remember watching when Rhinos have played Saints. I would be panicking every time Amy Hardcastle got the ball.
I used to.
Yeah, and it's so for her. I mean, I think because Saints haven't made the decision whether they're paying yet, are they? Oh, sorry, is it match fees, isn't it? But I don't think Saints have made a decision in that. But I think it's an absolute astounding signing for the Rhinos women. And I know we're going to come on to it in a second. But if we keep certain players, I mean, a centre partnership of Fran Goldthorpe and Amy Hardcastle, I'd actually put that in the men's side. It's like, you talk about the strong. That is probably the strongest pair.
I agree.
In the Super League. On my limited knowledge of the players throughout the Women's Super League, that as a centre partnership is ridiculous.
It can't be a coincidence that Leeds pay match fees announce the pay match fees to the players, and we sign one of the best players in league. It just can't.
No,
it cannot be.
But there's two other teams that are paying, aren't there? So York and Wigan. Aren't they paying as well now? Aren't they paying match fees?
York definitely are. I can't remember that about Wigan, but there is another side. We've obviously signed quite a few players for the women's side recently, which is great. My concern here is, as you've touched on a second ago, there have been rumours about some of the women's ladies' side at Leeds getting offers for NRL, women's NRL. Is this a case of, here's Amy Hardcastle, here's all the other signings we've made, but we are going to lose Fran Goldthorpe, God forbid, and Georgia Roach, and they're going to. I'm all for them going over there because it's the pedigree over there is and they'll be paid and much more, and they'll flourish. But it will be a massive loss for us. But a bit of a sour taste, do you think, or do you think it's a bit like for like Amy Hardcastle? For Fran.
I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Amy Hardcastle could go down there, but I think she's a bit older, isn't she? I tried to think about this in a different way. Would I rather lose them to Union, or would I rather lose them to the women's NRL?
God.
That was the conundrum that I came up with to try and answer this question. Because, again, like you said, I wouldn't want to stand in Fran's way, or even Caitlin Beavers, another good player, or George Roche. I wouldn't want to stand in their way. If an offer came in to go play, is it fully professional down there for the women? Or
I think
as
so.
close
they've got state of origin and everything. I think that's close to, if not.
So for their career development, and also for England women, for the development of the England women's national side, to have players down there playing with the best week in, week out is only good for the women's game. But it is if we do, part of me thinks if we could just have them, can we just keep them for 1 year, just so we can have this one women's side that we've got just for 1 year, win the titles again, wipe the floor clean, and then they can go off again. But I think
you look at the squad now. I'm pretty resigned to that, unfortunately. But if we keep the squad as it is now, with the signings we've made, the players we've currently got, we will wipe the floor with the whole league and cup, everything next year. The squad is too strong. We signed Jennerini, who had the most try assists for the Army in the past 2 seasons. She's come in. Kaya Glynn, top point scorer in Women's Super League South 2021-2022. Beth Dayton, Wales, she's a dual international, actually, for Wales, in Union and League. And Amy Hardcastle. I do apologise, I'm so embarrassed saying Lucy. Amy Hardcastle, England international.
Wonder she hasn't accepted your invite to come on the pod if you're calling her Lucy.
I'm just some poor woman saying, who's this bald man messaging me about a podcast? Add all them into Frank Goldthorpe, Sophie Robinson, Zoe Hornby,
Caitlin Beavers.
Yeah, the squad is
Hannah Butcher.
Absolutely stacked.
Yeah.
It's petrifying how good that squad looks on paper, and I can only assume that we're going to win everything.
That's not even delusion. That's just fact.
That is a fact. There's no delusion. Not one shred of delusion plays part there. To wrap up this match review, we got another kit. We got the third Leeds Rhinos kit before a ball is kicked late last week. I think it was on Friday that the third kit was announced. It was a bit of a surprise, as in there wasn't much build-up or there wasn't much social media. There's usually like a little tease.
There was bloody nothing.
Something. There was nothing. It was just like, I think it was 6 a.m., 7 a.m. They just went, ta-da, here's the new Leeds Rhinos third kit. What was we've just got it up now on the screen for those people watching this on YouTube and watching it back on YouTube. What was your initial thoughts?
We have a good record of liking third kits, do we? Because we didn't like last year's third kit. We only liked it because we won in it. Yeah. But this, to me, is an absolutely awesome concept with really bad execution. Now, you're saying about the lack of build-up to it. I really liked, the one thing I did like about it is when they pointed out all the different things on the shirt that meant Leeds. So why didn't we have someone walking around these areas of Leeds with the shirt on, or zooming in on that piece of the shirt and zooming out into the corn exchange, or zooming onto the owl and zooming onto the town hall? Like, if you're going to promote it as part of the Leeds 2023, again, massive concept, get some filming done in Leeds. And so people can relate to those areas a bit more and stuff, and the fanfare of it. I don't really like it. Would it have been better if the pink was blue? Meh. But we've got too much blue, I think, at the moment. But I think the concept is absolutely brilliant. I really like the idea of it. I just don't think it's being executed that well, unfortunately. But Laurie's already bought it, so...
Laurie's bought it, the silly sod. God knows why he bought it. God knows why. We could have had him on. We'll have to ask him. Yeah. I think Oxen have jumped on that little pink kit towards the end of the year hype that we had. Read too much into that, because let's not forget, everybody. Let's not forget there was a great hype train and buzz around that pink kit. But like Reese says, that
led by
pink
us
kit was absolutely terrible.
Yep.
It was
our hype, by the way. We led that hype, and Rob Oates jumped on that. Yeah. And the thing is, I think they've generally only had to release this now because we're playing Warrington in the first game and we've got 2 blue kits.
Yeah. To say, we'll have to throw this out now. Quickly, someone design a shirt.
Yeah, we haven't got a kit to play against Warrington because our home kit is blue and white, and our away kit is a different shade of blue.
There's a different shade of blue. We need a third kit. I think
Yeah.
so. I think Oxon have kind of overshot it with the pink again to kind of think, oh, they liked it last year. There was a bit of a cult following behind that, but no, not really. It was just a kind of flash in the pan. And I think a lot of people kind of agree with you, Reese, in that a great idea, just poorly executed. But to be honest, even if the pink was blue, would it have saved it? Like Reese says, I'm
not sure.
Entirely sure. I was kind of thinking about this earlier. I'm thinking if it was all yellow with a blue trim, would it look slightly better?
Yeah, I had a yellow
I don't know.
kit
You
for
kind
a
of
while.
looking.
I quite like a yellow kit. I mean, we had the yellow kit. We had obviously the Borough kit. So we have had a yellow kit recently, but I like the Tour de France yellow kit actually as well. But I mean, we haven't had a decent white kit. I did ask for a white kit, and we technically
you've got your white
got
kit.
A white kit. Yeah, kind of ish. In certain ways, I didn't want it. And the pink's back.
Yeah, the pink's back. Lucky us. So this is the third kit before a ball is kicked. So my question to you, Reese, is how many kits are we going to have this year, do you think? Like, realistically, how many shirts do you think we will have?
I think there'll be one more.
You think 4?
I'm doing the serious answer, aren't I? So if I was doing you, I'd be going another 7. One, you know what? Why don't you just do one?
That's my serious answer.
We'll do one for each round. Oh, actually, no. I think there could be 5 kits this year because there'll be a kit for Borough, hopefully, again, because that was a great kit they did last year. But there might be a Magic kit as well. But the Magic kit was the Borough kit, wasn't it, last year?
Yes.
So
and last year we also had, or was it the year before? We had like a Rhinos Foundation charity one. It was like black and orange. You remember that? Was that the year before?
And then all the retro
Definitely
kits as
Oxon.
well.
All the retro, yeah. These are things you have to take into account. Are you sticking with your answer?
No, I think you need about 12 now. Because there was four retro
I'm
shirts
going to say
wasn't there?
7. I'm going to say
including
7.
Retro
including
shirts.
retro, yeah. 7. What are you saying?
I'm going to go 8 now.
One more.
Because there'll be 4 normal shirts in the season. So one more kit to actually wear, and then 4 retro shirts. Although I don't know what retro shirts they've got left. Oh, they could start going to they could do the 2004 kit. They haven't done that one yet.
They've loads to do, yeah. It depends. They've kind of gone a little bit earlier, haven't they? So they haven't done anything from when we won. No, they haven't, have they?
They haven't done anything.
They did the 99 Challenge Cup shirt. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm going to go 8.
I think the issue with the retro shirts is the kind of stuff that's on them. Like they did the 92 shirt, but it had Carling on it. Yeah. I don't think they can do that. So I think but they could easily do the much older ones from the like 60s and 70s where they were just plain, with a collar.
Yeah.
There's not much in terms of sponsorship there, but I'm going to say 7 shirts. Awesome. That's the match review panel for Leeds versus Bradford. We will be back for the review of Leeds versus Hull KR. Thanks for listening. Thanks to Reese, as always. And we'll see you on the next Lot Pod. Take care.